Welcome to Truth Report. I'm Alex Truth.
And I'm Maya Clarity. Tonight, we peel back the layers of global headlines, uncovering the hidden currents of power, injustice, and the profound, often unacknowledged, impact of a changing climate on human lives and state actions.
From stranded citizens and audacious scientific breakthroughs to the quiet revolution in industrial technology and the chilling construction of modern-day segregation walls, these stories, at first glance, appear disconnected.
But a deeper investigation reveals a disturbing pattern, a world grappling with mounting pressures, where the vulnerable are increasingly marginalized, and the powerful often choose convenience over responsibility, all under the looming shadow of environmental stress.
We expose how decisions made today, from Hong Kong to Eswatini, echo a shared global struggle for stability, resources, and fundamental human dignity. Let's begin. Our first story takes us to Hong Kong, where authorities have made a concerning decision regarding their citizens abroad.
Reporting from the South China Morning Post reveals that the Hong Kong government has ruled out chartering Cathay Pacific flights to repatriate residents stranded in the Middle East, citing potential danger in navigating partially reopened airspaces and challenges in securing takeoff slots.
This isn't just a logistical hurdle, it's a stark indicator of global fragility. The government claims the route from Oman was deemed impractical due to the absence of direct Cathay services. But for a global city like Hong Kong, one would expect robust contingency plans for its citizens, especially in regions prone to instability.
Indeed, Alex. The phrase potential danger of navigating partially reopened airspaces is vague and concerning. Is this danger purely geopolitical conflict, or does it hint at other forms of disruption? We're seeing increasing reports of extreme weather events globally impacting air travel and infrastructure, adding another layer of complexity to already volatile regions.
It raises serious questions about the state's capacity or willingness to protect its own, particularly when faced with complex, multi-layered crises. Is the safety justification a convenient shield for avoiding the significant financial and operational costs associated with emergency repatriation, especially if these crises become more frequent and widespread?
And consider the ripple effect. If a wealthy, globally connected hub like Hong Kong struggles with such a basic duty of care for its citizens abroad, what does that signal for less resourced nations? This incident highlights the vulnerabilities embedded within our interconnected global travel networks, susceptible to both conflict and environmental disruptions.
The true cost of this decision isn't just financial. It's the erosion of trust, the individual hardship of those stranded, and the disturbing precedent it sets for how governments might respond to future large-scale emergencies, which could very well be climate-induced migrations or resource conflicts impacting travel.
Those who benefit are primarily the government, avoiding the financial outlay and operational risks. They minimize immediate liabilities. But the clear losers are the stranded residents, left in precarious situations, and the fundamental principle of state responsibility to its citizens in distress.
This decision, while seemingly localized, connects to broader power structures. It exposes the limits of state power and global connectivity in an increasingly volatile world, where geopolitical tensions, exacerbated by climate change pressures on resources, make safe passage and coordinated international action ever more challenging.
Now, for a story that offers a glimmer of hope amidst these challenges, highlighting critical steps forward in industrial sustainability.
Hitachi, a global industrial powerhouse, has unveiled its full line of electric air compressor solutions at CONEXPO, as reported by Electrek. This isn't just an incremental improvement, it's a significant leap towards cleaner, quieter construction and industrial sites.
The Electrek article emphasizes that this shift isn't just about emissions, and it's not just about costs. Crucially, it's about addressing noise pollution. Municipalities across the country are cracking down on noise levels, and construction crews that promise quiet, emissions-free job sites are winning bids.
This is a powerful demonstration of how environmental regulations, coupled with public demand for better urban living conditions, can drive innovation. Noise pollution, often overlooked, has significant public health implications, contributing to stress, sleep disturbance, and cardiovascular issues.
Exactly. By tackling both air quality and noise, Hitachi is responding to a holistic vision of urban environmental health. These electric compressors reduce direct greenhouse gas emissions and also eliminate localized air pollutants from diesel engines, improving air quality for workers and nearby residents.
This transition signals a paradigm shift in heavy industry. The quiet, emissions-free promise isn't just a marketing slogan, it's becoming a competitive advantage. Companies like Hitachi that invest in sustainable technologies are positioning themselves as leaders in a rapidly evolving market.
This innovation has applications far beyond construction sites. Think of manufacturing plants, mining operations, or even maintenance work in sensitive areas. The adoption of electric solutions can significantly lower operational costs in the long run, reducing reliance on volatile fossil fuel prices.
The primary beneficiaries here are urban residents, construction workers who face less exposure to harmful fumes and noise, and of course, Hitachi itself, which gains a competitive edge. The losers are arguably the manufacturers and industries resistant to electrifying their equipment, clinging to outdated, polluting technologies.
This move by Hitachi illustrates the broader power structure at play, the growing influence of environmental regulations and public pressure driving technological advancement. It demonstrates that with the right incentives, industrial giants can pivot towards solutions that benefit both the bottom line and the planet, offering a tangible path to decarbonization in challenging sectors.
From technological progress, we turn to a deeply troubling development in South Africa that speaks volumes about inequality and the climate crisis.
Al Jazeera reports on a multimillion-dollar crime wall being planned along the N2 highway in Cape Town, a project that shack dwellers say will explicitly separate the poor from the rich. This isn't just about security, it's about a deepening divide.
A crime wall is a crude and often ineffective solution. While governments often justify such projects under the guise of security, the reality on the ground, as eyewitnesses attest, points to a disturbing resurgence of segregationist tactics, reminiscent of South Africa's painful past.
The N2 highway is a critical artery, but it also serves as a visible dividing line between affluent areas and informal settlements. This wall, therefore, becomes a physical manifestation of economic and social inequality, literally fencing off the privileged from the challenges faced by the marginalized.
We must investigate the root causes of the crime the wall supposedly addresses. Is it simply opportunistic theft, or is it a symptom of widespread poverty, lack of opportunity, and resource scarcity? In a region increasingly vulnerable to climate change impacts like droughts and food insecurity, these socio-economic stressors are only exacerbated.
This wall is not an isolated incident, it's part of a global trend where privileged communities attempt to isolate themselves from the consequences of broader societal and environmental failures. Instead of addressing systemic issues like inadequate housing, unemployment, and environmental justice, a physical barrier is erected.
The multimillion-dollar budget for this wall could instead be invested in sustainable development, climate adaptation for vulnerable communities, education, and job creation within the informal settlements. These are the true long-term solutions, not exclusionary barriers.
The primary beneficiaries are the wealthier residents and property owners who seek a superficial sense of security, and potentially the construction companies profiting from the project. But the real costs are borne by the shack dwellers, who are further stigmatized, disempowered, and physically isolated from resources and opportunities.
This project is a chilling example of climate injustice in action. As climate change intensifies resource competition and displacement, we see the wealthy adapting by fortifying their enclaves, often at the expense of the vulnerable, pushing them further into precarity and denying their fundamental right to a dignified existence.
It represents a broader failure of governance to address systemic inequalities and to build inclusive, climate-resilient communities. Instead, it relies on physical barriers to manage complex social problems, reinforcing division rather than fostering collective solutions. Moving from societal divides to the very building blocks of matter, we now turn to a scientific breakthrough published in Nature that could have profound implications for future climate solutions.
Researchers have synthesized the first half Möbius carbon chain, a molecule with an unprecedented and unusual shape, as reported by Nature. This isn't just esoteric chemistry, it's foundational science that could unlock strange and powerful physical properties.
Imagine a carbon structure that isn't just a ring or a straight chain, but a twisted loop, like a Möbius strip. This unique topology could give rise to entirely new electronic, optical, and mechanical properties, potentially revolutionizing materials science.
The significance for climate change may not be immediately obvious, but carbon is at the heart of both the problem and the solution. Breakthroughs in carbon chemistry, such as this, often lay the groundwork for next-generation technologies in energy storage, carbon capture, and advanced catalysts.
For instance, materials with novel electronic properties could lead to more efficient solar cells or superconducting wires, reducing energy waste. Unique porous structures could enhance carbon capture technologies, pulling greenhouse gases directly from the atmosphere.
This research reminds us of the critical role of basic scientific inquiry. While not a direct application today, these kinds of discoveries are the seeds from which future climate innovations often grow, years or even decades down the line.
It's a painstaking process, often overlooked in the rush for immediate solutions. But understanding the fundamental behavior of carbon at the molecular level is essential for developing durable, efficient, and sustainable materials for a net-zero future.
The beneficiaries here are potentially all of humanity, as this fundamental research expands our scientific understanding and opens doors to unforeseen technological advancements. There are no immediate losers in this discovery, only the challenge of translating laboratory breakthroughs into real-world impact.
This story highlights the broader power structure of scientific progress. It's driven by curiosity, collaboration, and sustained investment in research. It's a testament to human ingenuity, offering a beacon of hope that scientific advancement can still provide crucial tools to tackle grand global challenges, including climate change.
Our final story tonight brings us back to the stark realities of human rights and international accountability, with a disturbing twist.
The Guardian reports that 3 men, deported by the US to Eswatini, not their home countries, have filed a legal case against the Eswatini government with the African Union's human rights body. They claim their detention is an unlawful violation of their rights.
These men, from Cuba, Jamaica, and Yemen, were sent to Eswatini after completing criminal sentences in the US. What immediately strikes us is the choice of destination. Why Eswatini, a small, landlocked kingdom in southern Africa, rather than their countries of origin?
This raises serious questions about international legal norms and the practice of third-country deportation. It appears the US is outsourcing its responsibility for these individuals, and Eswatini, formerly Swaziland, has seemingly agreed to hold them, 2 of them in prison, for unknown reasons.
The countries of origin, Cuba, Jamaica, Yemen, are all nations highly vulnerable to the impacts of climate change, from rising sea levels to extreme weather and resource scarcity. This context is crucial when we consider the broader implications of forced migration and detention.
The African Union's human rights body is now involved, signaling the gravity of the alleged unlawful detention. This case could set a dangerous precedent, where powerful nations offload their undesirables onto less powerful states, potentially straining their resources and complicity in human rights abuses.
What exactly is Eswatini gaining from this arrangement? Is it financial aid, diplomatic favors, or some other concession? The opacity surrounding this agreement is deeply concerning and raises questions about national sovereignty and international legal frameworks.
The clear losers are these 3 men, stripped of their liberty and legal rights, caught in a geopolitical arrangement that prioritizes convenience over justice. The principle of international human rights law also suffers a blow, as states find loopholes to circumvent their obligations.
This case is a chilling precursor to how wealthier nations might increasingly manage future populations displaced by climate change. We're talking about millions of people who will be forced from their homes. Will they be treated with dignity, or simply shuffled to third countries that are pressured into accepting them, regardless of their own capacity or legal frameworks?
This reveals a troubling power dynamic where wealthier, more powerful nations exploit the vulnerabilities of smaller states, forcing them to bear burdens that, in a just world, should be shared or addressed by the original deporting nation. It's a deeply concerning erosion of international accountability.
Tonight's stories, though geographically diverse, reveal a disturbing interconnectedness, a global struggle unfolding against a backdrop of increasing environmental and geopolitical instability.
We see governments failing to protect their citizens, as with Hong Kong's refusal to repatriate, highlighting a retreat from responsibility when faced with complex global challenges, potentially exacerbated by climate-induced instability.
We witness the stark divide between those who adapt by excluding, like the multimillion-dollar crime wall in South Africa, and those who are left vulnerable, a painful manifestation of climate injustice.
And the Eswatini detention exposes a system where powerful nations offload their human rights burdens onto weaker states, creating a troubling precedent for how the world might manage future waves of climate migrants and displaced populations.
Yet, amidst this, we see the promise of human ingenuity, Hitachi's electric compressors, driven by regulation and demand, offering tangible solutions for cleaner urban environments.
And the groundbreaking scientific discovery of the Möbius carbon chain, a reminder that fundamental research holds the key to future innovations in tackling the climate crisis, even if the path from lab to application is long and complex.
The pattern is clear, a world under stress, where the powerful seek to externalize costs and consequences, while the vulnerable bear the brunt. It's a stark call for accountability, transparency, and genuine solutions over expedient, often unjust, measures.
We must demand more from our leaders, more from our corporations, and more from ourselves. The interconnectedness of these challenges means that a failure in one area inevitably impacts another. Ignoring human rights or environmental degradation in one corner of the globe will inevitably ripple across the entire system.
The truth, as always, lies beneath the surface, connecting dots that seem disparate. It's a story of choice. Will we build walls, or will we build bridges towards a more just and sustainable future?
For Truth Report, I'm Maya Clarity.
And I'm Alex Truth. Join us next time as we continue to shine a light on the hidden truths shaping our world.